All right, let's talk about a feeling we all know, maybe a little too well. That sudden, white-hot flash of anger that just seems to erupt out of nowhere and feels completely overwhelming. We're going to figure out what's really going on inside our heads when that happens. I mean, have you ever been there? You're just trying to get through your day, and then some tiny little thing, someone driving too slow, a comment that just rubs you the wrong way, a frustrating email, and bam! You go from 0 to 100 in a split second. It feels totally out of proportion, right? Well, guess what? There's a very good reason for that.
Yeah, this quote just absolutely nails it. Survival is at stake. I mean, that's what it feels like, doesn't it? The reaction inside your body is massive, like you're in a life-or-death situation, even when the thing that happened is, well, pretty minor. So what part of our brain is sounding this incredibly loud and usually false alarm?
Okay, so to understand why we snap like that, we've got to take a look under the hood. We're diving into a very specific, very powerful part of our brain's ancient wiring.
All right, say hello to the amygdala. You can think of it as the emotional command center for your brain, or maybe like the head of security for your entire body. It's this tiny, almond-shaped thing, but wow, it has a huge job to keep you safe.
So the amygdala's job is basically to be on high alert 24/7, scanning your surroundings for danger. And when it spots something it thinks is a threat, it slams this big red panic button that floods your body with all those fight-or-flight chemicals. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Its definition of a threat is, well, it's a little outdated. It literally can't tell the difference between a real physical danger and a symbolic one.
And this is where the mismatch comes in. It's huge. You see, your amygdala is running on software that was programmed like tens of thousands of years ago to deal with things like saber-toothed tigers. So today, when it sees a modern threat, like a rude email from your boss or someone cutting you in line, it triggers the exact same high-level red alert survival response. Your ego might be a little bruised, sure, but your brain is screaming, "We are not safe."
So, the most important thing to get here is this. That big reaction, it isn't a character flaw. It's not something that's wrong with you. It's a biological feature. Your brain's alarm system is simply running on very, very old software that just wasn't built for all the little annoyances of modern life.
Okay, I know this might all sound a little discouraging. Like, what? We're just slaves to our ancient brains? But here's the good news. We're not. There is an off switch for that alarm. And you know what? It's surprisingly simple.
So this is the big question, right? If you can't stop that alarm from going off in the first place, how in the world do you turn it off? Because that first jolt of anger, that's automatic. You can't really stop that from happening. But what you do after the alarm sounds, that is 100% in your control. And it all comes down to one simple number.
90. That's it. That's the number. We're talking about 90 seconds. This right here, this is your key to taking back control from that emotional hijack.
This is what's called the 90-second rule. Here's how it works. When your amygdala sounds that alarm, it shoots chemicals like adrenaline into your bloodstream. But that chemical rush, it has a really short lifespan. In fact, it only takes about 90 seconds for all those compounds to be completely flushed out of your system. Just a minute and a half.
So just stop and think about what that really means. After that minute and a half, the purely physical, chemical part of your anger is gone. It's over. So if you're still feeling angry after that, it's because you are choosing to re-trigger the alarm yourself by attaching a story to it. You know, you start looping those thoughts. That guy totally disrespected me, or I can't believe she said that to me. And with every thought, you're just keeping that chemical cycle going.
So how do you actually use this? It's really a three-step process. Okay, number one, the second you feel that flash of anger, just acknowledge the physical feeling. That's it. Notice your heart is racing, your hands might be clenched. Just notice it. Number two, and this is the hardest part for sure, you have to resist the urge to start telling yourself a story about it. Don't start replaying what just happened in your head. And number three, just be an observer. Just watch that feeling for 90 seconds. Sit with it, knowing that it's just a temporary chemical event and it's going to pass.
So now we get to the really cool part. By practicing this, you're moving from just being automatic to being intentional. You're literally rewiring your reaction.
So let's really reframe this. On the one hand, you have a chemical event in your body. It's a 90-second physiological process. That's it. It is not a permanent state of being. And on the other hand, you have the story, the narrative. But you have to remember that story isn't a fact you have to believe. Each time you let those 90 seconds pass without latching onto the story, you're teaching your amygdala that, hey, A rude email isn't a saber-toothed tiger. You're separating the feeling from the story.
Okay, so let's boil it all down. What are the key things to remember? First, that big emotional reaction, it's just a chemical event. It's temporary. Second, you have a 90-second window of opportunity to choose how you respond. You can decide not to refuel the fire. And third, the most powerful thing you can do is learn to separate that initial physical feeling from the story your mind wants to tell about it.
And this is really the final thought I want to leave you with. That physical feeling of anger, it's fleeting. It's gone in 90 seconds. But the story you attach to that feeling, a story about being disrespected or being treated unfairly, that can last a lifetime. So the next time that alarm goes off in your head, the real question is, what story are you willing to let go of?